Welcome to the Boosted Volunteer Podcast. We share the stories of dedicated Booster Club volunteers and the tools and strategies they use to run successful booster clubs. We also have sought-out experts on fundraising, volunteer management, and running nonprofits to share best practices. Hosted by Robin Eisler and Evan Eisler, you won't want to miss these great episodes that will help you run your booster club like a champ.
Welcome to the Boosted Volunteer. Today we're talking to Jenny Richardson, the head coach of Georgetown Lady Eagles Volleyball. And we're going to talk about the secrets of building a great sports program. Jenny's the head coach of one of Central Texas' premier volleyball program and took her team to the state semifinals this year. Jenny, we're looking forward to hearing all your advice on how to build a great sports program, and congrats on the success this season.
Thank you very much. We have had a really great year. Luckily, we're one of those programs that has a pretty good year every year, but this year was pretty spectacular. I would say probably one of the coolest achievements of my career was being at the University of Mary Hardin-Baylor, being in that gym, and I would venture to say half of Georgetown was there. It was really cool to see how the whole town came out and supported those girls. It was pretty awesome.
Well, if you played another local team, right, at the gym, they did not have the fan showing that Georgetown did, from what I understand.
Allegedly, well, our assistant coach, one of them, Coach LeCain, her parents were sitting, unfortunately, on the Cedar Park side. And one of the guys said, dang, you beat us 3-1 in fans. So obviously I was not counting, but we did have a really large turnout. And that right there, I think, is the main ingredient to why volleyball and all the programs at Georgetown are very successful, is because you have support.
Yeah, they always talk about talent, of course, is the key to, a team's success on the court, but talent only goes so far if you don't have support of the program. What are the key components, in your opinion? If you're bringing in the talent from the players, the school district, the booster club, how does it work? What are the building blocks?
You burn a really great piece of steak, right? Like you said, talent only gets you so far. I think Georgetown High School, the community, has set itself up to where it offers all the great ingredients. You have to, one, hire the right people to figure it out. You have to maneuver everything. You have to find the good recipe. And Georgetown, the community, does a really good job of preparing their children, their athletes, to be successful. I mean, at Georgetown, how many times did you think you took Ellie to a serving clinic or a passing clinic when she was in middle school, when she was in elementary school? You prepared them to do well once they get to high school, once they get to middle school, and not going backwards, middle school, then high school. So I think our community has an expectation of doing well in your sports, or just at least being prepared and having the experience and the tools to be the best version of yourself. So that's one main reason I've been at Georgetown for 16 years. I love being there. It is expected. It is awesome. It is expected to do well, but everybody works hard in order to do well. You can't just say, well, I'm going to go to Georgetown High School and I'm going to be good. That clearly doesn't work. What is the fancy thing of steak, like Wagyu steak?
Yeah.
I mean, just buy it and it's expensive doesn't mean you can cook it. I've ruined some truffle oil before. Crap happens. But you have to figure out how to put the right ingredients together. And I think Georgetown does a good job of that.
You mentioned starting with the players in elementary and middle school. I know a lot of times in Georgetown, the high school coaches, actually go down to the middle schools and work with the middle school coaches. And how far ahead do you see these players coming in, and what kind of relationship do you have with the middle school teams?
We actually probably start at elementary. So our camps start out at kindergarten. So we see immediately what we've got coming up the next 10 years, 15 years. And I know that sounds silly, but the kids on my team, the seniors that were on my team right now, we did a little clinic called the Little Diggers. It was a play on words for the little dribblers. And the O'Shaughnessy's and Addison Guido were in that group, and that group was second grade.
Wow.
So we got to know them when they were in elementary school. Our middle school coaches are absolutely phenomenal. We text often. I'll go to their games. It's hard to get to their practices because they're at the same time as mine are, but middle school coaches are competent. They're great. They do a good job of preparing those kids. They do an excellent job of communicating with me of who's coming up. And we probably every other week try to get to a middle school volleyball game. We'll sneak in, try to sit in the corner, go unnoticed.
No one
Watch
knows
it.
where you are.
Yeah.
That's hard to do, though. That's hard to do. We always knew when you were there. Well, you guys had a great 2024 season. What's one thing that stood out in the success this year?
A common goal, everybody wanted to go to state. And that sounds duh. Every team in America wants to go to state. But not every team in America has the talent to do that. Not everybody in America has the group, the mindset to do that. We had a very small team this year. We had 10 kids, 11 kids, and every single one of them, unselfishly, was ready to do whatever it took to get to the Final Four. And that clearly shows because you can have talent, but only three kids are like, this is my passion. I want to go to state. I want to do really well. I want to win as many games as you can. And then you have some kids that may be like, oh, I just love it. This is really fun. I'm here to hang out with my friends. I love volleyball. It's more of a hobby, which no problem. That's what high school's for, is the cool experience. We just got really lucky this year that every single kid on the team, their main goal of being on the team was to get better and to go to state and do really well. So it's a different mindset sometimes. It's neither good nor bad. You just luck out. That kind of mindset is contagious throughout the whole entire team.
Yeah, I watched this team a couple times this year. They seem to be very cohesive and everybody was on the same page. And you're right, you don't see that every year. As much as every team tries, this team seemed to be very, very focused on teamwork as the goal. Your assistant coach, Coach Good, is one of your former players. How does that impact things? What's that been like to go from player to partner out there as part of the program?
I think she gives such a unique perspective because there are things she does a great job of making me go from old school to new school. My first 10 years here, I was so old school. And then ever since she's been on staff, she'll go, yeah, you did that with us and it didn't work. Or you did that with us and it really did work. And it's in a constructive, we need to get better. Here's what we need to do. And so it's a really good perspective of how we need to do things, how we shouldn't do things, how we need to change things. I think the kids are really drawn to her because she knows what they're going through. She knows the struggle of all the hours that go into it. It's not easy to be on the Georgetown volleyball team. We demand excellence. We love on them, but we do push them. And it's a lot of time and it's a lot of effort. And she does a great job of relating to them and knowing when to push and pull because she's literally gone through the program. So I think it's really good for the kids to talk to her, use her as a sounding board. And she's done a great job with me of letting me know when to push and pull and be a litmus test of how we need to do things at the moment. So I enjoy it.
Sounds like it's great, brings two perspectives, both the player and the coach perspective. How essential is your booster club in your program's success?
Oh man, I was saying earlier, you have to have all the right ingredients for a good meal, and they're the grocery store. I mean, they are there because they are the support. Nobody wants to do anything that goes unnoticed, right? You want to work your butt off. You want people to go, yes, good job. I mean, sports wise, if
Right.
you're doing fine things for someone, you obviously want that to go unnoticed. But sports, you want the world to see what you're doing. You want the world to celebrate with you and cheer for you. And our booster club does such an amazing job of fostering that community. They are coming up with cool ways and cool ideas to come to the games, to cheer at the games. The fundraising is, if you don't have, I'd rather eat a $20 steak than a $2 steak, right?
Yeah.
I don't stick with them. the state team. So they do a great job of providing us with the means to enable our kids to have the best of all the equipment, best of all the uniforms. I've always said, you look good, you play good. So do a great job. And you just can't imagine, all those people are working 40 hours a week plus. Then they also donate their time and energy and dollars to the Booster Club. It's a labor of love for them as well. And I hope they enjoy it. I know it's a lot of work, but they really do. I know their daughters appreciate it. I appreciate it as well.
It's definitely a labor of love, as you said, right out there supporting the kids. And some of the coaches, you guys work harder than anybody. I'm always amazed at your schedule, the amount of time you guys put in. But right behind that are the Booster Club volunteers that are working all day and then going and supporting the programs.
I always kid around with them. I mean, you remember I would tell you, "Oh, you get a raise this week." Oh, man. Go get you a nice frosty Diet Coke out of the refrigerator.
You get a free water tonight at the game. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about the relationship between the Booster Club, the coach, and the school, and how those things come together? In every program, it's a little bit different, but what's the general dynamic of that flow?
I think we're lucky because we have a Georgetown Volleyball Booster Club. Now, I'm only speaking from experience. I've never been to a school or coached at a school where we had a shared booster club.
Mhm.
I've only had the luxury of having our own booster club. And in order to be good at anything, you have to have different opinions, you have to have different perspectives. And when we do the booster club meetings, it's so good to hear the parents talk about, all right, well, Coach Richardson, that schedule, that's a little this, that, or the other, just getting their opinion. Because here's the thing, I can say, well, I'm just the coach of the kids. No, we're all in this together. I always call it the tripod. It's me, the kids, and the parents. The tripod has to you break a leg on the tripod, we're all falling down. So I think the more communication that the coach has with the booster club, the better. Whether it be good communication, whether they like it or dislike it, still communication is key when you're working with your booster club. Having those meetings allows the booster club to get to know me, because kids can come home and say, "Oh, Coach Richardson, blah 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 blah," and the parent can be like, "Wait, what are we doing? We have a game tomorrow. We have this." But if they hear it from me, they get the emails from me, the whole dynamic is just more successful. Our booster club, I'm baffled at how hard they work. The decorating in every single home game, we have some function going on, whether it be breast cancer awareness or you name it. We have something going on every single game. And you have parents coming in and decorating after they get off of work. You have the concession stand. They need to know they're appreciated because they are donating a lot of time and a lot of money. And what I like about them too is I think it's a two-way street is they know how hard I work. They appreciate me. I know how hard they work and I appreciate them. And for the most part, it's a bunch of really cool people working hard for the betterment of the kids' experience. So Georgetown Volleyball Booster Club, they work their butt off. And it's cool. They always want to outdo the last booster club, like, oh, they did this. This year we're doing that. And which is good because that's why their kids are competitive.
That's right. That's right.
The apple never falls far from the tree.
I remember you told me that a long time ago. It was in a booster meeting. You said, the people ask me all the time, do the boosters kids play more? And the answer is yes, but not because I favor them, because they work harder.
Learn from your parents. Your parents are go-getters. Your parents are volunteer. They are service-minded people. They want to work hard. Well, duh, your kids probably exactly the same.
Yeah. Well, Georgetown Volleyball has a unique set of boosters, the Sun City boosters. The local 55 and up community come out and have their own section and get a lot of love from the program. How did that start? How did that come about? And what does that kind of support do for the program?
I don't know if it was there before I got there. I mean, I did not create it at all. I know they were there for basketball. I'm sure Coach Farney probably had something to do with that, but it is just way too cool. It is It really makes you realize that you're not just playing, like for the athletes and themselves, they're not just playing volleyball for their school. They're playing for their community. It's not, oh, I like volleyball, so I get to wear the spandex and cool jersey and play in front of my friends. They are bringing, hopefully, enjoyment on Tuesdays and Fridays. Definitely getting the heart pressure up for a lot of those guys and ladies. Y'all, it was funny. My aunt one time she said, "Are you ever worried that one of those is gonna have a heart attack in the stands?" I was like, "Well, not if we play well good enough."
There's even a guy that comes out with a toilet
Oh,
seat, right? And
right.
gets the
Yeah.
fans off their feet.
Oh man, I've had some doozies. I've had some come up to me and ask me why I'm running a 5-1 and not a 4-2. I'm like, 4-2. We haven't talked about that since 1988. But yeah, they try to give me volleyball advice and all that kind of stuff. It's funny, but it's really cool to know that those people, because they're basically inviting you into their lives. You're part of their life, you're part of their chapter. And the girls really do appreciate it. And it's really cool for all of our parents to sit across from them and watch them. And I enjoy it. Sometimes, if we're at a game where it's not too exciting, I like to look over and see the dynamic of the visitors because they get super ticked off because they're technically sitting on the visitor side. And you can see you'll have there's out of one every 5 games, there'll be one stubborn dad from the other team that will sit right in the middle of the Sun City Booster Club. And he just sits there, arms folded, and it's fun to watch because I'm like, all right, what do y'all think? How long is he going to last? 5 points, 20 points? What game do you think he's going to move? We'll try to wager on when he's going to move, but we've seen some people move pretty quickly.
Well, that's my husband and I's retirement goal is we want to adopt a sports program like the Sun City Boosters have done Georgetown Volleyball. And it might be Georgetown Volleyball if we're still here then, but we want to go and be the biggest fans with no kids on the team and just cheer them on and support the program.
Life really is fun when that's what you want to do with your life is have a good time and support somebody else. You
Yeah.
can't really go wrong with that.
Well, back to your team and the program this year, a lot of your starters graduated this year. In fact, I think almost your whole starting group were seniors. How do you rebuild? How do you plan for next year?
Oh, slowly. Even in August, even in July, we were talking about 2025's team. So it's something that we have to constantly think towards. We're probably always about 2 years ahead of the team that we're on. We're looking at the seventh and eighth graders. We figure that in who's coming in. It is a chess game. It's a chess game that lasts for about, I would say, a team is built in 2 years. You figure out what's going on, who's missing, who's going to step up. It's obviously always written in pencil, well, our dry erase markers, because you'll have certain people that, all right, this eighth grader, I think she's going to come in. She needs to grow about maybe 2 more inches if we're going to use her at this. If she doesn't, we'll use her at that. She's got to get a little faster. She's got to do this. She's got to do that. And if they meet that, then we pencil every stuff in. And you have kids that we think, okay, they're going to be our starting right side. And then they say, well, I want to go do field hockey or I want to do more choir. So you have kids that want to experience different things. So we have backups to backups. We have 3 different lineups. We've probably already got 5 different lineups for next year already in the works because we have to create it and let it stumble and fall or succeed during the off season. This January through July is really big and making big moves, small moves, and all the above.
In that program. What's one piece of advice you can give other coaches who are starting a program or building a program for what to do or for professional development for themselves? Like, where do you find inspiration? Who are your mentors?
Ironically, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I live in Austin, drive to Georgetown. So I've got a 25, 30-minute drive to work every day. I try to listen to a volleyball podcast probably about 2, 3 times a week. I'm constantly on YouTube, constantly on Instagram. I'm constantly talking, calling all of my coaching friends. My coaching friends are so successful, it's not even funny. My God, I'm surprised. I'm shocked every once in a while that I get to be friends with some of the people I'm friends with, that they're so successful. And I have no problem. I think the advice would be to ask questions. Never assume you know everything. I always say there's a lot of people that know a lot more about volleyball than me. So why wouldn't I ask them, hey, what would you do in this? What would you do in that? So I stay hungry, if you will. Like, I'm constantly wanting to learn something new. I'm okay with manipulating and changing things if I'm stubborn a little bit, but not to the sense of I would hope that it would drag me down. So I like to learn new things. I like to screw up a lot. I like to fail because I want to try so many new things. And then if they work, if they don't, it's not the end of the world. I can rebuild and move on. That should be what athletics teaches you. Like, if you don't try, you never know what good can come of it. But yeah, I screw up a lot. Is that good advice to people out there? Screw up.
Fall forward, right?
Come on.
You can't have success without failures. That's the key piece of advice, right? There you go. And back to advice, we're jumping a little back to the booster volunteers. What's a piece of advice you would give a booster club volunteer?
Do it. Because your kid is only in high school for 4 years. And you only get, what does they say, get 18 summers with your kid, whatever the sad stats are. If you have the time and you have the energy, why not experience it with your kid? Why not be a part of it? And I'm one of those people. I have to know why things work. And if I don't like how something's going, or I want to know why someone is doing something, dive in. What better way to figure out what's going on in your kid's life than to be on the booster club? Because we talk about everything at the booster club. I'll pull mothers inside and say, hey, I saw so and so walking with some boy in the hallway. I'm ixnaying that. I think it's a great way to get the 411 on things and just educate yourself on your kids' experience in that sport that they're doing. And I think when you join the booster club, you do get an inside scoop of what's going on. And I think that the more knowledge that you have, the better your experience will be. I mean, obviously, if it's positive knowledge that you're getting, but I would want to know what the heck my kid was going through. And, I always think it's weird when parents, you should want to get to know me. I'm hanging out with your child for minimum 2 hours every day. So why wouldn't you want to get to know the coaches that your kids are spending so much time with? You wouldn't let your daughter spend the night at some random kid's house without getting to know the parents and making sure that their ideals and their philosophies are at least on the same universe as yours. So I also think it's a good idea for the parents to get to know all the other parents in the volleyball community together and the coaches. So that way you all just know who is hanging out with, not who's hanging out with who, but getting to know the people that are also invested in your daughter's life.
I've had a couple people say that's where they made their most adult friends, was working on a booster club project.
Well, because again, apple doesn't fall far from the tree. If you are going to work and donate your time, now you automatically know that parent is selfless, that they are hardworking, that they are trustworthy, that they are reliable, so that they have all of these great qualities that you want in a friend, that you want in your daughter's friends' parents to have. So yeah, it's a great way to see that people have really great character.
Well, I always like to end the Boosted Volunteer episodes with talking about your high school experience. So did you play a sport in high school? I think I know the answer. And how did it impact your life?
I played volleyball, basketball, ran track, and I pinch hit or designated hit. Oh my God, that's how stupid I am when it comes to softball. It was a hot mess. There was an Olympian, mind you, never played softball a day in my life. My two best friends on my volleyball team, two of them also played softball. And I was bored my senior year. I was like, oh, I'm going to come out. I'm fast. I ran track. I'm going to see if I can hit. And Coach Hopkins, rest in peace, she got me out there. I was hitting off a machine and was just hitting bombs. I was like, okay. She put me in to hit at a game, and it was Krista Williams, who is an Olympian. She ended up being an Olympian softball, gold medal softball pitcher. Boy, did I strike out. Just whiff, whiff, whiff. I'm like, this is not the highlight of my athletic career in high school. But no, I had a really great volleyball career at Aldine Nimitz High School, and I had a really good track career. I did triple jump and long jump. So my basketball career, not so good. I couldn't handle all the plays. I was like, I'm too tired.
And how did all of that impact your life? Obviously, you became a volleyball coach for your career, so
I,
it had some impact.
Well, my mom was my middle school coach, and she played volleyball at Lamar University, and I played volleyball at Lamar University. Just this Christmas, I hung out with four of my teammates, myself and their mothers. We went to one of those places. It's cool. My friend Jana owns it, like a paint and twist place, and we all made blankets with our mothers. They're lifelong friends. I consider their family my family, so it has been a really cool experience. I've known those people since kindergarten, and our time in sports brought us even closer. We got to play against each other in college. Two of them went to Baylor, one of them went to Sam Houston. So we actually played often. Every year we played each other in college. So just a really cool experience. They came to some of my playoff games this year. So it's a lifelong thing. It's when you go to war with somebody, that's what we jokingly call it, playing a game, going to war with someone, you definitely build relationships and you maintain them. And I'm very thankful for them.
Well, congratulations to you on the awesome 2024 season. We're rooting for you and the whole team and the whole program. And I've always enjoyed watching the Lady Eagles do so well. And it's one of our favorite programs here at Booster Hub, that's for sure.
Oh, yes, we love the Booster Hub, love spring, love telling everybody life is much easier if you've got Booster Hub. It really, the amount of emails and work that it's significantly cut back because it streamlines everything. It's just significantly made my life easier because you don't have to answer 25 to 100 emails a week about how do we do this? How do we do that? The website does it for you. Maybe you get the emails now. I don't know.
We do
But
get some of them, but not. Well,
yeah, I'm proud of y'all. I think it's so cool. I'm just so proud that when I go on other people's website, I'm like, oh, this is a Booster Hub website. Oh,
yep, we got the Webmaster 2.0 coming out in the spring, so we're on the next version now. So, well, thank you for all your support. Congratulations on the great season, and thanks for joining us today.
I appreciate it. Anytime. Love the Islers and love Booster Hub. Love everything that y'all have ever done. Y'all have always just a positive, supportive, helpful, reliable family. So I love you guys.
The Boosted Volunteer is brought to you by Booster Hub. To find out more about Booster Hub and how our app can help you improve communications, increase engagement, raise more money, and manage your booster club responsibly, visit www.boosterhub.com. And then make sure to search for Booster Club Podcast in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at Booster Hub, thanks for listening.